I just finished watching the Netflix A Toxic Love Story and just had one of those astrology moments of if astrology ain't real, then tell me why. Tell me astrology ain't real without telling me astrology ain't real because astrology is real. Let me tell you why. The entire premise of this docu film is centered in this pseudo character of Lilith. You know Lilith if you know astrology. You know we love Lilith. I talk about Lilith all the time. Lilith in astrology is really connected to the constellation of Taurus, the star of Medusa, the star of Algol, Algol, is the star of Lilith. And watching the whole movie was just so interesting. It transpired in 2021. It reached its climax in 2021. That's when Ian Dees was arrested. And I thought, okay, well, there's something here because we know the ecliptic axis was moving into Taurus and Scorpio at that time. The entire premise of this docu-film is centered in this pseudo character of Lilith. You know Lilith if you know astrology. You know we love Lilith. I talk about Lilith all the time. Lilith in astrology is actually connected to the constellation of Taurus, the star of Medusa, the star of Algol, Algol, is the star of Lilith. And watching the whole movie was just so interesting. It transpired in 2021. It reached its climax in 2021. That's when Ian Dees was arrested. And I thought, okay, well, there's something here because we know the ecliptic axis was moving into Taurus and Scorpio at that time. Okay, we get to the point, I had to pause it here, where Ian Diaz was arrested May 13th, 2021. I looked up the astrology and I was like, bingo, that's it. Low-hanging fruit, we know May 13th is Taurus season. We just talked about Algol, the star Medusa, Lilith, being in Taurus, being in the constellation of Taurus. But wait, there's more. I looked up the astrology and here's what else coincided with. Of course, how could I forget? Lilith down here. This is a transit chart of that exact date, May 21st or May 13th, 2021. Lilith she's in Taurus, 26 degrees. Of course she is. She is literal conjunct the star of Algol. The star of Algol, Medusa, the star of Lilith itself is at exact 26 degrees. So transiting Lilith was at exact conjunct to Medusa, the star of Algol. Why does this matter? You know, we've done for years content on Lilith. Let me give you a refresh. This is the symbol for Lilith. Everyone has Lilith in their natal chart, but the astrology, mythology, and the lore with Lilith is, especially if someone has it in its chart, any sort of connections, like planetary conjunctions to the star of Algol, the star of Medusa. If you have this in your natal chart, you can be prone to trauma to the head, injuries, because Lilith represents domestic violence, really gory stuff, the dark stuff we don't like to talk about. Like, I really can't say what she represents, just Google it. Oftentimes a lot of people who have this in their chart it's called seeing red and losing your head. So people like MLK, JFK had this in their chart. They all got assassinated, right? Especially trauma to the head. And even that one guy, I gotta pull him up right now. Here we go. Chris Watts. Remember The Family Next Door? Netflix did this docu-film on him. I looked up his natal chart that year when this came out in 2020. I'm telling you, the 2020s to 2022, the eclipses were in Scorpio and Taurus, and Lilith was transiting Algol in Taurus. People were losing their minds, losing their heads, death, gore, trauma, violence, especially against women, was a collective theme. But this guy right here, his chart, I remember looking, his natal sun was conjunct Algol. And this man has severe, just looking at his chart, and we can't make mental health diagnoses. I have no right to do that, but he has severe anger issues, severe mental trauma. I want to look up, going back to not Michelle, but the wife, the Diaz. What is the freaking lady who lied a lot? Okay, Angela Diaz, there you go. Angela Diaz, who is the wife of Ian Diaz, who was an accomplice and co-facilitated the setup against Michelle, the ex-girlfriend. I want to know that woman's birthday. Actually, and Michelle. I bet all of them have some sort of Taurus connection, some sort of Lilith connection, some sort of Star of Medusa algal connection. I would put money on it as an astrologer. I have a highlight stories on my Instagram page just dedicated to astrology and a lot of content around Lilith if you're interested in learning more and doing a deep dive ranging from the Versace connection to Selena. The singer Selena has algal in her chart as well. Anyways, I wanted to share this. What are your thoughts? Astrology is fascinating.